Wow, welcome to Blue Pen Land here. Well, I will try to add these two vectors using a calculator. Okay. Now my first step is to find the components of all these guys, right? So let's do that. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, the first step really is to draw these components. So you go from the tail of the vector to the tip. You draw it around the angle given. That's the easiest thing. So here we go. There's my, that's going to be my y component. Here's my x. This will have positive y and positive x because it's up and to the right. This guy here is going to be negative both, I think, because here's my y component here. Down, right? And then I have to go to the left, which that'd be negative x, right? So you draw these guys, right? Start at the tail, go to the tip, draw them tip to tail, make them arrows, right? The next step is to find the lengths of the sides. So let's draw what we've got. We've got this is 125, and that's 32. This guy is 85, is the hypotenuse, right? And then that angle is 25. Okay, I'm going to call this vector A. I'm going to call this guy vector B. And we're just going to fill in a table. We're going to have A and B and A plus B. And what we're going to do is, I always do this. I try to be methodical about this because I'm kind of a spaz. I'm not very good at this. Okay, so this is the x direction. This is the y direction. Okay, so let's figure this out. We're going to fill this table in. Eventually we'll add x to x and get the sum in x and the y to the y and get the sum in y. But first we've got to find what those are. So notice that this side's my adjacent side. This side's my opposite side. Adjacent sides touch the vector. Opposite sides are, as the name implies, opposite the vector, right? Okay, so my adjacent side here is equal to, it's always hypotenuse cosine, right? So it's 85 cos 25. And then the opposite side is 85, and this is sine, right? Sine 25. And these are degrees. Okay, so here we go. Literally, I'm going to bust this out. I'm going to go 85 cos 25, enter. 85 sine 25, enter. Write these down. 77.04. This guy's 35.92. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and just fill in this little table here, right? My adjacent side goes up and down. So the next step is after you draw them, after you find the lengths of the sides, decide x and y positive and negative, right? So this side goes up and down. So the adjacent side is definitely the y direction. Since it goes up, it's positive. Okay, this guy here, the opposite side that goes side to side, that is definitely the x direction. And since it goes to the right, it's positive. So let's write these guys down. 35.92, right, and then 77.04 meters in the y direction. Okay, now let's find these sides here. So let's see. This side here, this is my adjacent side. Touches the angle, right? Opposite the angle, whoop, is this guy, right? Okay, so let's find that. The adjacent is equal to magnitude, so 125, cos 32. And then the opposite side is going to be equal to 125 sine 32. And those are degrees, right? So 125 cos 32, enter. 125 sine 32, enter. 106.01 equals 106.01 basically, right? And then this guy is 66.24. Okay. Now we got to decide, right? This adjacent side, of course, goes up and down. So it's definitely y direction. Since it goes down, it's definitely negative. This guy here, this horizontal piece, the opposite side, right? That's definitely the x direction. Since it goes to the left, it's negative. So let's put that guy in there. Negative 66.24 meters in the x direction and negative 106.01 meters y direction. We'll double check. This guy should have a lot of y, a little bit of x. a lot of y, a little bit of x. It should have both negative components, right? It should be it's to the left of the y-axis, below the x-axis. So it should be negative x, negative y, and indeed it is, right? This guy's positive y, positive x, because it's here in this first quadrant, right? Positive and positive. It should have a lot of y and not so much x. A lot of y and not so much x. Okay, so now we're set. Now we're going to add these guys. So 35.92 plus negative 66.24. I get negative 30.32. Okay, now let's do these guys. 77.04 plus a negative 106.01. I'm getting negative 28.97. So this is the sum. This is our vector, but it's a component vector, right? So now we got to draw a picture of it. I'm going to go to the left. I'm going to go down. More to the left than down. So let's draw this. And then from there, so draw that, and then from there, draw the downward one. The vector goes like that, right? This guy needs to be arrows. You need to draw these all with arrows. So this guy's down and to the left. My magnitude, this side is 30.32. This is 28.97. Right? My magnitude is the square root of 30.32 squared plus 28.97 squared. Notice I don't put the negatives in there because that's a little bit dodgy with a TI calculator. 30.32 squared plus 28.97 squared. Let's see what that is. I'm getting 41.9 as my magnitude. Oh, I need to draw this to gotta keep it separated. Okay. So that magnitude is 41.9 meters. Okay, and then I'm going to find this angle. It's always good to find the angle with the tail of the vector. That's the tail, that's the tip, right? And that's going to be the inverse tangent of the opposite, so 28.97 over 30.32. Okay, second tan, 28.97 divided by 30.32. This should be an angle less than 45, right? 43.7. That's a 4. Doesn't look like a 4, but maybe it is, right? So 43.7 degrees, 41.9. Draw it with the arrows. You're all set.